The world in her backpack. What if I told you that learning English can become the greatest adventure of your life? Not with textbooks, not with boring grammar drills, but by stepping into the world and letting every street, every stranger, and every mistake teach you something new. That's exactly what happened to Mia, a girl with a tiny backpack, a big dream, and very, very limited English. But by the end of her journey, she discovered something far more valuable than just fluency. The story: Mia had always been ordinary, an ordinary girl with an ordinary life. But there was one thing inside her that wasn't ordinary: a burning desire to see the world. Every night, she looked at travel videos, pictures of cities glowing at night, airplanes rising through clouds, and people laughing in cafes in languages she didn't understand. Sometimes she whispered to herself, "One day, that will be me." But each time she tried to imagine herself traveling, a wall appeared in front of her, a wall made of words she couldn't pronounce, sentences she couldn't form, movies she couldn't understand. English, the language of airports, signs, hotels, people, everything. One rainy evening, she finally made a decision. She booked a one-way ticket to London, grabbed her small backpack, and told herself, "I won't let fear decide my life." 1. London. Lost in words, the moment she landed in London, she felt like she had stepped into a movie. Red buses, black taxis, people walking fast, voices everywhere. At the taxi stand, the driver said, "Where to love?" Mia froze. The words came out fast, warm, and confusing. She tried to speak. I need go to this address." The driver smiled kindly. "No rush. Take your time." That simple sentence felt like a warm hand on her shoulder. When she arrived at her hostel, she felt exhausted, not from traveling, but from thinking so hard in English. But that night, she promised herself something: "I won't be silent. Not anymore." So she forced herself to talk to the girl in the bunk above her. Her words were broken, but the girl understood, and that small conversation became the first brick in her bridge to the world. 2. Paris. The mistake that changed everything. Paris was beautiful: golden lights, soft music in cafes, the smell of fresh bread. But speaking English there? Much harder than she expected. At a cafe, she practiced her sentence. "Can I have a chocolate croissant, please?" She repeated it in her mind again and again. When the waiter approached, she panicked and said, "Can I have a chicken croissant?" The waiter blinked. Then he laughed softly. "You mean chocolate, yes?" Mia turned red, her heart racing. But then she laughed too, and that laugh felt like freedom. That moment taught her something powerful. If you're not afraid to be embarrassed, you can learn anything. That day, she made a new rule for herself: one brave mistake every day. And soon, mistakes became her greatest teachers. 3. Rome. The day she found her voice in Rome, Mia decided she would not hide behind silence anymore. She forced herself to ask strangers for directions, even when she already knew the way, just to practice English. One evening, she joined a free walking tour. The guide asked, "Where is everyone from?" People shouted, "Brazil, Japan, Canada, Turkey." When it was Mia's turn, she said quietly, "I'm from." But before she could finish, the guide smiled warmly and said, "Wherever you're from, welcome. We're all travelers today." The group walked through ancient streets, and Mia found herself talking to people from everywhere. Her sentences were simple, sometimes broken, but no one cared. They listened, they understood, they responded. That night, she wrote in her travel journal, "Today, for the first time, English felt like my friend." 4. Tokyo. The night of global connections. In a small hostel in Tokyo, Mia entered the common room. A group of travelers sat around a table playing cards. A girl from India, a boy from Brazil, a couple from Egypt, two students from Italy. They were all speaking English, every one of them, with different accents. They invited her to join. She felt shy, but she said yes. Soon they were laughing, telling stories, sharing food. Someone said, "We all sound different." But that's the magic of English. It belongs to everyone. Mia looked around the table. People from 5 continents, different cultures, different lives, yet sitting together, connected because of one language. And suddenly, she felt larger, as if the world wasn't something she visited, but something she belonged to. 5. New York. The moment of transformation. Months later, Mia arrived in New York, the loudest, brightest, most energetic city she had ever seen. On her 3rd day, she was standing in Times Square when a tourist asked her, "Excuse me, can you help me find Broadway?" Without thinking, she answered smoothly, "Yes. Go straight and turn left at the next corner." The tourist thanked her and walked away. Mia stood there in the middle of glowing lights and realized she had answered without fear, without thinking, without doubting herself. That was the moment she knew. She wasn't the same girl who once froze in front of a taxi driver. She didn't just learn English. She grew. She changed. She became someone brave. Ending message. Mia's journey shows something powerful. You don't learn English only from books. You learn it from people, from mistakes, from courage, from the world itself. And your journey can start any moment you decide to take the first step, even if that step is as small as saying your first imperfect sentence, because every word you speak, every conversation you try, is another passport stamp inside your mind.